as saying to a billion human beings now enslaved behind the Iron Curtain, give up your dreams of freedom, because to save our own skins, we're willing to make a deal with your slave masters.
Hi, I'm Dale Earnhardt. When I'm not racing, I'm usually fishing, and Bass Pro
I never knew it was possible to be this alone. Invisibility cloak, I leave it at the door most of the time. Row both out and oar, never seem to hit the shore. Misguided almost every time, across the sea of my mind.
Last year, I made the best video that I've ever made, which is funny because that video isn't even on this channel. It's on my personal channel, which I do all sorts of wacky stuff on it. It's mainly just a filler channel for like school projects at this point now, as I do most of my stuff here. But you know, back then, I actually use that channel for a lot of the stuff I do on this channel now. You know, these random ramblings and commentaries. And back then, I made a video that completely blew any perception I had on YouTube, the algorithm, or anything else. And it was on the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. I've just been thinking long and hard about just there's a freaking pyramid in freaking the South dedicated to Bass Pro Shop. Like, you would think it'd be like big, like a big deal, right? You'd think it'd be like this huge thing that everybody would be talking about. There's a freaking pyramid. Like, somebody came up with that. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? Here's the deal. I don't have a whole lot of people that talk about my channel outside of like the channel itself or any of the video projects that I choose to do in any sense of the term. But one that constantly comes into the conversation anytime that I bring up anything to do with YouTube is this Bass Pro Shop Pyramid video. It's got the second highest views that I've ever gotten, and it's literally me just standing and talking about the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, and it's probably my most quoted video from my friends to this day. And so I'm racking through my brain and I'm like, what is there to talk about in the upcoming, you know, tidings and times and all of that? And then it hits me that, you know, this video turned a year old like last month. And so what better way to commemorate this, maybe get some easy views, than to talk about the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid again, because there's just so much to talk about. It still drives a sharp wedge into my heart anytime that I think about it, because it is just so powerful. The Bass Pro Shop Pyramid is so powerful and so well known and widespread in American society that on Tennessee's license plates, this is real, the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid is on it. It's in the background, but it's on it. The world's #1 source for fishing and guns and American culture. That probably makes sense. It is on a license plate. For context, it's kind of like if Britain put tea and crumpets onto their license plates, or Canada put sadness and regret on theirs, and France just made their entire license plate all white. That was a bad joke. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, man. I don't... What does it say about the state of America and how American culture is that we have something like the Bass Pro Shop pyramid being built in the late 90s to early 2000s? I think it's a reflection of how American society is plagued with the idea of facades and not really so concerned about the real thing as a whole. You know, we have celebrities and celebrity culture that is built entirely off of the perception that we have of these celebrities based on internet videos and TV shows and commercials they're in, and what the tabloids tell us about them, and all these things. And so we build this idea of, oh, this person has the perfect life, and this person has the most ideal thing, so why would they complain about anything? And then you get a little peek behind the curtain. You get something like Britney Spears trying to break away from her family, a unit that should be considered one of the most important parts of your life, your parents. And she's trying to get away from that because of the stuff that she's dealing with. So we have these facades of these celebrities and the celebrity culture, and we idolize these public figures because, you know, they've actually got a voice and they got things to say and, like, you know, a stage to say them on. And so we flock to that because everybody in reality wants that stage. They want the ability to perform, to show for other people. And meanwhile, we have a giant pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. This figure, this symbol of American ingenuity and the power of the American worker. And we have it losing $200,000 a year. It's such an apt metaphor that you would think that it was written by somebody. Like that the pyramid isn't real. It was just a cleverly written metaphor, not even cleverly written. Like, I would read that in a book and I may be like, oh, okay, I get it. So the pyramid is a symbol for American consumerism and the absolute dominance in the power of perception as opposed to the actual thing. But no, it's a real pyramid. It's a real thing. It's an actual symbol. Something that I could go to if I wanted to. Well, I probably couldn't. They would probably hunt me down because I'm exposing them already. Let me tell you a little bit more about Bass Pro Shop's history, because it is deep, it is insane. But not Bass Pro Shop itself. We're going to talk about the pyramid itself because it wasn't always a Bass Pro Shop. Apparently, they just decided, hey, we want to build a freaking giant pyramid in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee. Which, I mean, is the second weirdest thing to happen in Memphis since country. So they build this pyramid after all of this time and all this money, and it's funded by these two rich people, of course, and they build it, and it's in the middle of Memphis, and they're like, we built this thing. What are we gonna do with it? We don't know what we're gonna do with it. We just want to build a freaking giant pyramid. Mind-boggling. How did they get that grant? How'd they get the grant? I guess the cosmic energies the cosmic energies freaking flowed in the world and traveled through space and time and landed in this exact moment. And what it wanted was a giant pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. And so they got the permit to build a giant pyramid in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee. And what did they use it for? To host the Grizzlies. Here's what's crazy. The Grizzlies were in Vancouver before they moved to Tennessee, right? And before they moved to Memphis as a whole. And and they were like, "Oh, we want to play in the pyramid. We want to play in the Tomb of Doom. That's what we want to do." Memphis loses $200,000 every year. Their main thing, the only thing that the pyramid is used for, every year they lose $200,000. Do you realize how insane that is? Do you realize how absolutely mental that is? $200,000. $200,000. I don't get it. What is society? What is culture? I don't get it. Maybe not everybody wants to perform. Maybe I just have this idea in my head, this concept that I'm supposed to perform for everybody else. And so that gets transferred into my perception of the world. The idea that everybody wants to perform. Everybody wants to be on a stage. Because not everybody wants to be on a stage. But we all have our own stages, you know? You know, we talk about this whole idea of likes on Instagram and Twitter and all these things, and everybody wanting to have these crazy profiles with all this likes and all this clout. But in reality, I think that's more of a symptom to the actual problem, which is the fact that we have grown up with such lower opinions on ourselves and the world around us than people before us did. You know, I hate to, act like I'm some victim, because I'm really not. But, you grow up in a world filled with social media and the ability to see any bad news, like the latest horrific news all around the world instantly. And you have this perception of the world and how bad it is. So what do we try and do? We try and make it a little bit better. Post something online that's supposed to encourage people. We participate in the discussion because we feel as though it'll make us feel more involved. But in reality, a lot of that is just like the pyramid. It's flashy, and it's performative, and it's showy. But it's not really anything when you look at the brass tacks of it. I don't think anybody has posted a rant on social media, on Facebook, paragraphs long, or gotten into a Twitter fight, and either party has left that Twitter fight being like, "Oh, I have a renewed perspective on life." I don't think massive legislative changes have ever started with somebody tweeting a Twitter thread. And even social change doesn't really happen that way either. In the end, we try and convince ourselves that we are doing something that is going to change the world. And in reality, not so much. The world is going to keep on turning. It's going to keep on revolving around the sun. And eventually, the issues that we fight for or fight against, they're going to be gone. Or they're going to be different.
Is your best friend 19 feet long? Do you plan time off based on weather patterns? Have you ever put on a chartreuse skirt?
creamy with a crunch. B, B, and C is what I'm thinking of, and it only could be found in my Reese's Puffs.
So Bass Pro Shop comes in. They're like, we're gonna save you. We're gonna pay all this money. We're gonna revamp your large, giant pyramid in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee, into the epicenter. Some may say the inflection point, the inciting incident for fishing in America. They were like, Bass Pro Shop, fishing, hunting, Egypt? That's it. And so now we have a towering figure, a enormous, one of the largest pyramids in the world, I may add. There are temples in South America and Egypt that are not as big as the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. And we just have it. Nobody talks about it. You would think that it would be something along the lines of the Eiffel Tower or the Empire State Building, due to its size, how big it is, the cultural significance of it. But nobody talks about it, which makes me think that there's something more going on with this thing. What are they hiding that they want to shut down the American media about? What deep, dark history can we unravel about the state of America? If I just got into the Bass Pro Shop pyramid, what could I see? What would we all be able to see? But, I mean, we're never gonna know. You wanna know how I know? Because I see things. I see things. The American people want to know what's inside the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. But I'm the one that's leading the charge. And Bass Pro Shop knows this. They know this. So what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're not gonna let me in to their facilities. I know that they won't. I know that they won't. If I enter a Bass Pro Shop now, who knows what may happen to me? I'm so caught up in my fears and conspiracies about this place that I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm gripped with anger, with rage, but most importantly, I am tormented by the sheer terror of this massive pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. And I don't know what to do about it anymore. Gotta end the video. I'm done. Definitely sounded like Joker in that last sentence. But yeah, so it's baffling to me that we have a pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee, dedicated to a franchise company all around the world that sells fishing and hunting gear. What does that say about American society? We've talked about it. I don't want to keep on going to pad out runtime. But it is interesting. It is very, very interesting.